Hi there, Alfredo here. If you use warehouse shipments and warehouse picks in Business Central, you might want to check the Pick Worksheet, which is a tool that allows you to consolidate or break down multiple picking activities from one shipment, or a consolidated pick activity for multiple shipments. So let's look at the setup required. I'm going to use for this demo my London WMS location where I got everything enabled, including directed put away and picks. This allows me to use shipments and picks, but also to use the additional functionalities required for this particular task. So let's look at an example and create a couple of sales orders, right? I'm going to differentiate these sales orders using shipping agent and shipping methods, because this is really one of the main drivers of shipment logic that you can use, you should use really in Business Central if you use warehouse shipments. Because really warehouse shipments are documents that allows you to manage shipments, different source documents like orders into one or multiple shipments. So I'm going to create an order for my company, and I am going to use the shipping method code here, cost and freight, and I'm going to use let's say DHL, and I want to use standard. Okay, so DHL standard for this one. I'm going to ship let's say this item, my desk, which I know we should have quite a lot, and I'm going to use my London warehouse, and I'm going to use only one here. Okay, a simple example. I'm going to release it. Alright, so we've got one order that goes out with DHL standard. I'm going to create another order now, and it's for another customer, and I want to use the same now, right? Again, I am creating orders here overnight standard. Alright, here standard. I'm creating orders and I'm using shipping methods. Again, the shipping method is very important because it allows me to organize multiple orders into one or multiple warehouse shipments. So 2 for DHL, and how about we create a third one for customer 1000, and this time we use the same cost and freight. This time we use FedEx, all right, and we use next day with FedEx. All right. I'm going to ship also my the same desk, just because I know that I got inventory in this one, and there we go. I'm going to release. So on this one I need to select the actual item. I'm going to use the same, but of course only because we are demoing, and I'm going to choose one. Okay, excellent, released. So if we look at this order, this one is also released, and we should be okay. And this one is my first order release. All right. What most users do now is to create a warehouse shipment for each of this documents, and it's a waste of time. This is not how you're wasting a resource. Essentially, you're wasting resources. You're wasting a very powerful tool that exists in Business Central, which is the warehouse shipment, which is designed to manage outbound demand. So instead of creating one document for each order, I'm going to look at warehouse shipments, and then I'm going to create a new one. So because I'm shipping those 3 orders from the same location, of course I can choose one warehouse shipment for location. Again, warehouse shipments are designed to consolidate goods out, like demand. So the supply is only one shipment, one supply. So we supply the inventory for one location, but we ship multiple documents using one shipment. From this shipment here, this document with no lines, you can see that I cannot do anything here manually, and there is a good reason for that, because Business Central allows me to use documents. Allows me to use a report with embedded logic that I can use, right? To ship my orders. Now you can see that on option number 1, guest source documents, I can see my 3 orders: DHL, 2 DHL, 1 from FedEx. Right now, these in theory can be 2 different shipments, right? Because I want to consolidate one shipment and arrange a ship for DHL. Maybe I want to place these goods, the goods to fulfill these 2 orders, into 2 separate loading bays, because DHL is coming to collect from one door, let's say of my warehouse. FedEx comes and collects it from somewhere else. Or maybe you got the same loading bay for both couriers, but you want to give your team an indication that these 3 orders or more will go out with 2 different couriers, right? So nothing stops me from selecting these orders and click OK, but I'm going to do something more sophisticated, which it's my favorite way of doing it. I can use filters, and on a filter here I can actually save filters by using the shipping agent code as one field that will get me all the demand that I want into the shipment. And I can even choose to segregate my to differentiate my demand, so that I can include only sales orders, but I don't want to include outbound transfer and purchase returns. Here I only exclude service orders because I like to keep service orders separate. But I can get everything that goes out with FedEx into this document. All my sales orders, 1, 2, 20 or more, purchase returns or transfers. So I'm going to run this one. And now there we go. I got also an old order here. And I can complete here and say, look, this goes out with FedEx. And then I can create another shipment also for London. And now this time what I want to do, I want to use filters, but I want to create a new one, which is DHL shipments. And now I want to modify this one, say that I want to get only DHL here. I can go even further and say that DHL standard goes in one shipment, DHL overnight goes to another shipment. In case I want to schedule my job. Why would you schedule my jobs? Why would you want to do that? Well, for example, if you want to schedule again your work for your warehouse team maybe a day in advance, you want to get everything into one shipment that goes overnight and start the picking process earlier, because of course you've got less time to prepare these goods, right? All the shipments. So something that the warehouse team can decide. So after creating these source document filter card, again I want to exclude the service orders. I can run it, and now I got my 2 documents that I created here. Notice how the document line, the sales lines in the documents show here, right? Another reason why you don't want, you can't have the source document, the sales order document on this page. The sales document number on a warehouse shipment is irrelevant. It's not supposed to be there, because then you missed on such an important feature here, which is the consolidation of multiple demand or outbound, right, warehouse requests into one shipment. So now we got our 2 warehouse shipments here for London. And if I say, I forgot to put DHL here, shipping agent code is DHL. This was done with DHL, therefore I want DHL here. Good. Now you can see that the information about when to ship, from where, and which shipping agent to use is on the header. This is all the data that I need to start picking. My two warehouse shipments now, 274 and 275, also show with a status of open, just like warehouse requests, like sales orders and purchase orders. An open warehouse shipment does not allow me to get the lines of the shipments into my pick worksheet. So an open warehouse shipment is still a work in progress, right? Maybe the planners in my team, someone who works in logistics, are still working and adding new lines to this document. So the next step that a user must perform in Business Central, once they are done with planning, is to release the warehouse document. So I'm going to release 274 and I'm going to release 275, right? And now that my two documents here are released, I can use the Pick Worksheet. So the next thing that I want to do on this Pick Worksheet is to select the actual shipments here. And you can see I've got lots of data here. This is a sandbox, so I've got some random data. I can identify the two warehouse shipments, 274 and 275, that I just created. And you can see that on the document header, I can see the shipping agent code that I added when I created the two, right? And as I told you before, I can also use the shipping agent service if I want to drill down by service or by shipping method. So I select both warehouse shipments and now I click OK, and all the lines of my shipments are now flowing to my Pick Worksheet. Again, this is still a work in process, right? I'm still planning and I haven't created a pick note yet. Interesting functionality here. The system tells me what I have on cross-dock bins. Got nothing on cross-dock, so I'm fine. Here I can say the destination. And destinations in this case, because we have I have a customer as a destination type. Destination type is a customer because the shipment is a sales order. I would see a destination type location if this was a transfer, and of course I would see a destination type vendor if this was a purchase return. I see quantity outstanding, quantity to handle. I can still look and say, look, I want to pick only 4 at the moment, maybe because I'm waiting for the stock to be replenished, right? Quantity available to pick. I can see that my available to pick is more than what I have outstanding, and of course I got a due date. So the due date is the date when the shipment is due. So by when we need to get these goods out with our couriers or our fleet. So I can essentially, as a planner, as a warehouse manager, arranging the pick activities for my team, I can decide to prioritize tasks, right? Of course, here I've got some random data. So these are the 3 lines that I just added. This is an old document. But again, I'll leave it here just to see how it works. So I can decide to delete lines from this worksheet. For example, say, look, I don't want to deal with this one. This is an order that goes out on February. Is an old one actually. I got 2025. Again, this is my sandbox, therefore I have the dates that don't really make sense. But let's say, for example, this was an old order, and say, look, this order is on hold and I don't want to deal with it. I can delete it. I'm not really deleting warehouse shipments lines, right? I'm just deleting stuff from my worksheet. And now I say, you know what? I want to create a pick now. And now Business Central tells me what I want to do. with a pick. I can create one pick for warehouse document, but again, it really defines the purpose of the warehouse document of what we're doing. But again, I can split a pick here, and we create one pick for 275 and one pick for 274, excluding that line that I cancelled, that I deleted. Or, as I told you before, in the example before, an example that I made before, I can create one pick per customer or vendor or location. So in this case, my warehouse document 275 will generate two pick nodes, two warehouse picks, because one per customer, right? I can even decide to split the picks by zone. So if I've got a large warehouse, I can get one warehouse team member to pick everything in from one zone, another warehouse team member in another zone. At the end of the pick, both of them will place the goods into the same loading bay, maybe where you want to run a further, check and consolidate, and maybe put boxes together, maybe on pallets, right? Or even by bin, or even again by due date, which is an interesting feature. If you've got multiple demands that go out on different dates, you can consolidate everything into one worksheet and create one pick per day. So one pick for everything that goes out today, another pick for everything that goes out tomorrow, right? So very interesting. I'm going to create one per customer. I can also tell the system, don't create more than 50 pick lines or 100 pick lines, because of course I know how many people I have available in my warehouse. Therefore, I don't want to create and schedule work that my team cannot do, right? And I can also assign it here, but actually I want to assign the pick. I can assign both picks to one user, but of course I might want to assign the individual picks to separate users, right? I want a breakbox filter. I don't want to pick. I don't want to print, because maybe I'm using handheld devices, and there we go. Pick activities from and to 276, 278 have been created. And so if I want to look at my warehouse picks now, there we go. So I got this one for my order 1061, and I got the 59 here, all right? And of course the other one. So three pick nodes, warehouse picks. Three warehouse picks because I got three different sales orders arranged in two separate shipments, because we ship those orders with two couriers, right? I can assign this one to one user, and of course the other picks to another user. Of course there is only one user. This is my sandbox, and it's just my user here, so I can assign two different users, and then I can start picking. I can start picking three pick nodes, warehouse picks, for two warehouse shipments that I created to fulfill three orders. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.